everyone. Welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story and the second session of our Out of the Abyss campaign. We are smack in the middle of things, and I can see some cheering already. Thank you, Pruno. We are smack in the middle of things, and we are excited to try to escape the Drow prison we have found ourselves in. For those of you who are just joining us or are new to 20 Sides, we are a group of streamers, mostly focusing on D&D, but we do a lot of other RPG stuff as well. We have a couple ways that you guys can get involved with us. First and foremost is by just subscribing to, by following this channel. By following the channel, you'll get updates when we are online, which is pretty much every day these days, which is great. You can also join our Patreon. Our Patreon is pretty active all times of day, all times of night. If you need a morning alarm, it works like that too these days. But it is a great way to interact with the number of groups that are going on the channel, number of campaigns, and then the number of just pickup groups as well. If you really like our channel, we encourage you to support us either by subscribing to the channel itself or by joining our Patreon. Members of Patreon have first access to our community campaign games, which are roughly held once a week throughout the month. And they have currently the community campaign is working on
we got Barrier Peaks.
Which
we're doing tomorrow night. There it is. And then I've also got Lost City will start up next month, and it's going to become a little bit easier to keep track of when the games are. They're all going to be Friday nights from now on. So that's our most popular night, and those are the nights I can fill up slots. So,
all right, great. And then subscribers also get added on as space open basis. So those are the Twitch subscribers. So, we are gonna, since we're trying to keep these a little condensed, we're gonna get right into things. The characters last session woke up deep under the earth in a Drow prison, and they spent the first session exploring their surroundings and getting to know some of their fellow prisoners. So why don't we go around real quick, and if you want to introduce your character and tell us a little about what they are up to. Dolphix, start with you.
Hello, my name is Dolphix. I am a gnome, apprentice wizard, still learning a whole magic deal, but unfortunately I found myself stuck in this Drow prison with these colorful folk, I suppose. And yeah, just itching to get out. I got some things to do, people to find, and magic to learn. Yep.
Great. Drazzle.
A Drazzle lizard man, cleric. He going to preach and missionary, and then woke up here. He's just happy. Things are good.
All right. Jaisa?
Jaisa.
Jaisa.
I am Jaisa. I am a halfling, a woman, pale-skinned, dark hair, and I'm primarily watching everything, trying to look for opportunities.
All right. Zaun?
Hello. My name's I was betrayed by the same people that I was selling to. See, these Drow here, they captured me when I was trying to give them products. I guess they thought I was part of the shipment. Now I'm here with these folk, trying to get out.
Okay. And last but not least, Vic.
Hey everyone, I'm Vic Valentine, and half-elf bard. Normally I'm positive like my old friend Drazzle over there, but these days Vic's feeling a little less on the up and up and getting more desperate, but still hopeful. Hopeful that me and this crew here, we're gonna be able to get on out of here and make our escape. But yeah, that's all you need to know about Vic for now.
All right. So, as it turns out, they're not alone inside the prison cell. There are a number of individuals with them some who have arrived earlier than them, some have arrived with them, and some who have arrived after them. We'll go through real quick, just this one time, I think, to give a review. You guys, those of you who are early, realize that Jim Jar, who is a deep gnome and somewhat mysterious, but very confident and very assuring, was in the cell along with a gnome from Gauntlgrim named Eldeth.
Dwarf.
Oh, sorry, you're right, a dwarf. Yep, sorry, a shield dwarf. Slowly after you guys met a race you probably had never seen before, maybe not even heard, one of the Koatoa, rumored to be underground fish people who are violently angry. But this one seems to have adopted a life of pacifism. His name is Shushnya. Who else? You met a gold elf trapped in a Quaggoth's body named Prince Darendel. Talks like he's from 300 years ago, strangely enough. Not quite sure what's going on there. Who else do you have? You have a small myconoid sprout named Stool, who seems to have endeared everyone to him. Doesn't have a face, doesn't have a way to communicate, except he can shoot out spores that allow everyone to telepathically chat with each other who are nearby him for an hour. I can only do that 3 times a day, but so far it's already been useful to the characters. I'm probably missing some people. You have one of the Drow themselves has gotten themselves thrown in here, apparently for murder. He apparently flew into a rage, murdered someone, and has no recollection of this ever happening. He escaped Menzabranzan, and he is now, he was on the run when he was caught by this outpost, and bringing him back to the capital, the Drow capital city, is seen as a big honor for the head of this Drow outpost. And last but not least, 2 deep-known twins. One who does not do much talking, a lot of grunting and pointing, and the other who does a little more talkative and a little more evocative, Topsy and Turvy. Let's just say it's 20 of you, I don't know. The 15 of you. The 15 of you are trapped in this prison cell. It seems to have some unusual magical properties, namely nothing magical seems to be working inside of it, but you, as you learned the hard way, the guards outside can shoot magic in at you. And when we left the characters up, your captors are led by a woman named Ilvara, who seems to be particularly cruel. She carries with her a 3-pronged flail that seems to have tentacles on it instead of the strands of flail. And you watched as that very instrument strangled and killed a prisoner who you had not met, an orc named Ront. but you saw him die in front of you, and she was showing you all an example of what happens to those who escape. She has 2 deputies, one whom she has recently taken as a lover, and one who is a spurned lover, from what you understand, apparently because something happened to his face, and he's now horribly disfigured. Joining them as sort of the leadership of this outpost is another, like a junior priestess. Her name is Asha, I believe, if I remember correctly, and Asha sort of is the spiritual leader when Ilvara is not present. And so when we left you, Ilvara had just made this this point of showing you the death of Ront, and you were walking back to your prison cell, led by Joron, who is the disfigured deputy. So you are headed back through the guard tower that's immediately outside of your prison cell, and the door to your prison cell is open, and your fellow prisoners start pacing in one by one. Is there anything you guys want to do while you're on this side of the door?
I don't
Maybe
have
still
anything at
inside.
this time.
Still inside the cell, you mean? Anything we want to do?
Before you go in the cell, like, in other words, before your magic restrictions begin. I'm not hinting at anything. I'm just asking. Opportunity.
We know where, what's her name? I keep forgetting.
Ilvara?
Elvara, where she's gone.
So she has taken Shore back to their little love stalactite.
Okay.
And that's, I know Shore was actually not with her when she was out on her hunting party.
Okay.
So because he was back here.
All right. And we know that that's the same stalactite. That's probably where all our stuff is.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's that central stalactite.
Cool.
You all file into the prison cell, and it's only Jorlon, which is not super unusual. You guys are perched about 100 feet above the ground of the floor below. If you guys look at the side view, it gives you a little bit better perspective for that. And so there's not many places to go. The only way you know that to properly get down is by a lift that is run by the Quaggoth. Occasionally you guys have run it yourselves just to help out as you're given chores and work duty during the day. But you also know that the Runt, the orc who escaped, he actually just jumped down into the spider webs below, and was able to escape that way before he was caught a little bit later. You file into the prison, and Jorlan closes the door behind you, and you hear it lock. And he's staring in at the bar. So he's staring in through the bars at all of you in the dark. Just sort of like sizing each of you up. And he walks off. You don't have Sport Chat on at the moment because I sort of said that it surprised you when Ilvara dragged you out. So what would you guys like to do?
Is there food?
You were already fed today. You're typically fed in the mornings, and this is like the end of the day. I'm not sure how many of you know what the
I was
day
able
is.
to eat the food when I was cleaning dishes in the kitchen.
I'm sorry?
I was able to eat the food that was left over when I cleaned up the dishes in the kitchen.
Right, but you were fed in the morning already.
I'm just sitting back contentedly, rubbing my belly.
How do Eldeth and Jimjar look? Ront was like their their companion, right?
Well, so Eldeth is Jim Jar was definitely respectful of the death. If you talk to him for a long time, I think you would get the same sort of sense you've gotten with some of the other conversations you would have with Jim Jar. And that is, and I realize now I forgot to introduce Pepito, but I can quickly fix that. Jim
Pepito
Jar
needs no introduction.
Pepito will introduce himself.
Yeah, sure will. Jim Jar seems to have a very like everything is written in the plan sort of view, and fate is fate. And so while of course he's not happy to see someone die, I think he's content knowing that was the role he was meant to play.
Well, and it's an important one because it teaches us something. It teaches us that you can survive jumping through the web.
That's true. Just don't get caught.
Eldeth is distraught, right? Eldeth is Eucanis, much more fatalistic. Much, even if we do escape, we're going to get caught. They're going to come right after us.
We knew that was likely, but if we're out there, our odds are better than if we're here.
Yeah, big risk.
Here we die. Going out there, maybe we die. Maybe it's better than definite.
For once, I agree.
They don't feed enough here.
You is there anything you guys particularly want to do before bed or overnight?
I don't think there's really much I can do. I am stuck in the cell, right?
Yep. And you're all still manacled. You all still have the ring around your neck and the chains connecting to your two hands.
Okay. So the key that Jasa got is for the door, not the manacles
Correct.
and all that. Okay.
Correct.
If we can recover our things, there's a likelihood I can unlock these.
Who looks the strongest as I kind of look around the room?
I can check, but it's
just
probably
the one
Prince,
What's my
it's
strength?
probably Prince Darendil. Being a Quagga. I can look up, but
No, I just
in terms of like who's the most hulking, it's the Quaggoth sitting next to you.
and his chains look the same as everyone else's.
Yeah, I mean they're fitted to him, but yeah.
I walk over to him and I just ask him like, why not break chain? Break chain.
He looks down at them. And you start to see him sort of like flex his arms and try to see if he can do it.
But know that if you do that, we are locked into making our escape before they open that door again.
So break the chains quietly.
But even if you break them quietly, when they open the door and see that you're free,
Maybe no C.
that seems unlikely.
Jasa, you said you got something in that tower. If we get to your stuff, what do you got? Like lockpick set or?
Yes.
Corey, a question for you. Do we ever get patted down or checked?
You haven't been. I mean, not like since you've been here. Like your stuff was stripped from you when you were unconscious.
And if I'm remembering correctly from last time, when we're out doing our jobs, there are times when the guards aren't necessarily directly looking at us.
Right. You're always escorted by the guards, but the guards are not you're not the most interesting thing in their day, right?
So here's what I'm thinking. I got that little trick of mine. I could maybe turn into one of these Drow. Maybe tomorrow during our rounds. I'm usually already over there collecting the water and emptying the the chamber pots. I got the key that you pilfered. Maybe I turn into one of them drow-looking fellers and make my way into that. If I could just find your lockpick set, I could bring it back tomorrow night.
That would give us more of an edge, certainly.
At least then, we're all free. Maybe when we break our way on out of here. Can't make any guarantees we'll all make it, but we've got some numbers at least in that scenario.
We go where we go.
I think we make our way to that lift. We ride that all the way down, get the heck on out of here.
Jasa, I think you sort of considering the manacle problem, you realize you realize a couple things. One, you don't think you have the stuff here in the prison cell, but you think maybe looking at them, they're pretty rudimentary. Maybe out you could find enough stuff like forks and knives and things like that maybe you could improvise the specific thieves' tools you would need to break these out.
Sure.
However, you also realize that you might actually it's not going to be easy. It's going to take a little while, but you might actually be able to squeeze your hand out of these things given enough effort without breaking them. It's going to take time, but that's a possibility for all of you. You realize that if people put their mind to it.
All of us, including the NPCs?
Yep.
Okay.
Alternatively, you could also break them if with enough strength.
I didn't know a fella was able to dislocate his thumbs on will. It's a cool party trick, but now I'm seeing the usefulness of it all.
Stool does not have manacles because he doesn't have arms.
Do we just carry him around?
Well, what are you waiting for, little buddy?
He
Run
has
free!
He has
Go.
two little pads.
Judging from the treatment Stool received yesterday, I think it best that we don't urge him to run on his own.
I believe I don't, and Jasa, you also have a very high passive perception, don't you?
Yes, perception and insight are both 17.
Does anyone else have something that high?
I got a 15.
So I think one of the things so I'm going to try, once again, this is really, really, as those of you who have run the adventure or before, really, really hard to keep track of individual conversations. And so some of this I'm going to sort of montage a little bit for you. But one of the things, Jasa, you're going to overhear all night, not all night, at some point in the night, is you hear whispers coming from outside the door. You can't see anyone there. You can definitely hear a female voice whose identity you can't tell.
But it is not Elvara.
As far as you can tell, because it would seem, well, you're not really sure, honestly.
Okay.
It's not, it could be, it's distorted enough that you can't, you're not quite sure who is saying it, but
Okay.
it's, as far as you can tell, female. You hear just a snippet of where she is saying, and well, it isn't right. You should do it because there'd be huge repercussions. And then the sort of the waterfall, just the white noise of the waterfall drowns out anything else you would have heard. Is there anything else overnight that people are particularly doing? Is anyone trying to break out of their chains? Is anyone are you encouraging Darendel to break his chains? Sounded like you were not.
Is it Is it the plan then to do all we can to prepare tomorrow and make our escape tomorrow night?
I think that's
Yeah.
a good plan.
Well, I would say then, Vic, if you think you could recover my picks, that would be great. But in the meantime, anyone who can find bits of metal, wire, anything that could serve as a lockpick, forks, kitchen knives, that sort of thing, see if you can't pocket them and bring them back. Because if we don't get my lockpicks, we might be able to use those.
Corey,
And I can unlock everyone.
what I was hoping to do when I was looking at the dishwashing duty the other day for what the utensils were that were there, I was looking at the idea of how, as a lizard man's cutting artisan, if I could get one of those forks and could break off the tines or do something else, it says as part of a short rest, I can use it with bone and I can make some things that maybe that would help me create something as a backup plan for his tools. So I'm going to be asking Jaisa if there's, what do you need, and try to discuss the type of tool or what he might need to create his own.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll describe the types of probes and tools and things that I would need to be able to get into the locks and unlock these.
So small piece metal, poke in, another metal piece, poke.
Yes, really, ideally with a longer handle, but if I don't have that, I can make do.
Like fork, stab, fork.
A couple of forks with tines bent down, perhaps, would work, yes?
So yeah, you of course you haven't collected any of them, but you definitely saw things that roughly fit the description of what Jason needs.
And have I picked up any of their language yet?
It has been maybe an hour since you last asked me. So
Fine.
you have a very rudimentary ability. So you've only been there maybe because you were the last to arrive. So you've only been there maybe 2 days at most, and not talking to them that whole time. So.
And our possessions? Are we still planning on recovering those?
I think that is the goal. We should be prepared to abandon it if necessary, but I think that is our first goal.
You hear Eldeth. I'm assuming this is a sport chat, right?
Yes. I always log into Sport Chat first thing in the morning.
So Eldeth sort of like glumly says, "But where will we go?" You're talking about running through the same as if we left an oasis and ran through the desert for 30 days at least.
Yes, that's true, but the other option is to wait here until we're sold. I've been down that road, and I prefer to make my own path.
You hear Sareth chime up, and Sareth is like, "I agree with you. Are you ready for all of Ilvara's wrath following you?"
Well, whether it follows us or whether we live in it, I prefer it follow.
Maybe wrath slow.
Eldeth is like they caught Ront within 3 days of his departure.
I know
Wow.
that our odds are not great, but they're better than they are if we remain.
Front is long. So catch one of us 3 days, the rest of us get 6 days. Some get 9. Some get 12.
The other thing is Ilvara sounds like I'm catching wind. Maybe things aren't all that good around here for her. Sounds like there's some problems. Maybe we slip out right now while these problems are brewing. Maybe that buys us some time. She's got other affairs to deal with.
Are you saying we try to escape tonight? Or are you saying right now, meaning still within the next day or two?
Well, I don't know. Hard to say how quick things are moving, but it seems like there's a lot of suspicion and people don't trust each other in the Drow camp. I think maybe we got one more day, we could take advantage of that.
Well, I don't know much about the Underdark, but what I do know is if we're gonna need to stand any chance of surviving, we'll need weapons, supplies, armor.
I agree.
Corey, do I have my Underdark spider?
No, you're gonna get him in the morning.
Okay.
You're gonna wake up to Underdark Spider.
All right.
So just to recap, our plan is in the morning, we're going to go and do our jobs like we normally do. We're going to try to get some tools maybe to help us break out of manacles at night. I'll see if I can slip into that area where our stuff is just to try to see if I can get the actual lockpick tools and also maybe get just a peek. I won't probably push it too far, but get a peek at what we might expect in there.
I think that would be valuable information.
1 second. Let me just check one person's stat block. Apologies for the. I think it's Sareth might be able to help with something. Sareth. And I think some of you would already know this, that some Drow have the ability to create darkness. And Sareth's one of those. He can't do it often, but it is innate, meaning if he were outside of here, he could drop it. It would almost certainly, if it was like in the middle of the workday, almost certainly everyone would know he was doing it, right? But he would definitely volunteer that information if it could be useful. Yeah,
It certainly could be. I wonder if the best use of that might not be as a distraction. If we were to use that to mask, you said there's 3 paths away from here. If we were to use that to mask one of them, and then we head down the other, another, they might follow the path that was darkened, thinking we went that way, and it would buy us some time.
and yeah, I think at this point they explain the path to you, or at least Sarah does, because he would know them best of all. And Sarah would point out that the path to the north, leading from this chamber, most likely is the most direct route to the Drow capital, Ranzan. And so there's no, unless you wanted to hand yourself over to even worse slavers, there's no reason to go that way. The 2 other options you hear amongst the group are two camps. And the two ideas are, one is to go to a place called Dark Lake, and to go where Shushinar is from, Slubadop. Slubadop is a Koatoa settlement on the shore of Dark Lake. You travel by land there. It is the closest of all the group. It is the closest thing anyone knows of like civilization. And so there is a camp amongst them who thinks that we should head there. And I believe you would head there by going out the south exit. The other camp would be to go to Gracklstow. Gracklstow is a dwarven settlement, pretty big, also on the dark lake. And so, but it takes longer to get to Gracklstow, and you do that by going to the west. I might have switched those, but
And what's there?
it's a huge settlement. So like the Koatoa settlement, as he describes it, is fishing village, like not a city. Gracklstow is a proper underground dwarven city for the Duragar.
Gotcha.
And Shushar, what type of reception would we expect if we were to go to the Koatoa?
Yes, are they all as calming as you?
He was like, well, I hope with my influence and my newfound philosophy, we would have no problem there.
But if they're not receptive to that?
Well, I think we could at least, maybe spend a night and then make our way across the lake.
So at the very least, they will not attack us on sight.
I believe so. I believe there's much learning that my kinsmen need. They often don't see the enlightenment that I hope to bring them.
Well, as for ultimate goals, once we're out of here, I hope to reach the surface. The only restriction between then and now is that I have made a promise to Topsy and Turvy here that we will not go to Blingdenstone.
And Eldeth is the first to point out that Blingdenstone, a little farther out, Blingdenstone is probably your best bet to get to the surface. She says, I know of tunnels that lead from Galtogrim, where she's from, that lead in the direction of Blingdenstone. So perhaps Blingdenstone is, I do not know, I've heard of this place, Gracklstow, this dwarven city, and I've heard of the Dark Lake, but only Blingdenstone is the place that I might be able to actually get to from Galtogrim. And Galtogrim is underground, but it sits in the layer above the Underdark proper. So it is a proper surface world dwarf city, fortress.
Well, some of us may need to find another route then.
Topsy and Turvy, if you ask Topsy, Topsy is actually fine. Actually, I think quite a few people have this idea, is that if you got to one of these, either Slubadope or if you got to Gracklstow, Drow aren't normally there in those two places. And so it would be at least a little bit of a respite from the vast Underdark wilderness in between. And so if you ask Topsy and Turvy, Topsy, and you see Turvy frantically nodding, Gracklstow might be a good option. They might actually stay there, assuming they would fit into. They're not dwarves, but.
Well, if we can get them safely stowed, then Blingdenstone is back on the agenda, I suppose.
Stool, of course, you hear sort of like. So for those who are watching for the first time, Stool is the myconoid equivalent of a 3-year-old child, and so I think Stool is asking lots of questions, and not about the conversation at hand, but about things he perceives around him, and it's a lot of like why questions, like a 3-year-old being like, why can't we go, or why can't we? It seems to be a little bit better state than he was when he was brought in. You see him particularly like close to Shushnar. Shushnar's like calming presence seems to like, you see them together a lot.
Yeah, those questions would totally piss me off, but I'm trying to not be pissed off. because we have to work together in order to get out of here. But this little 3-year-old
Yep.
makes
Still
me
kind of
want
important.
is incredibly important to us succeeding in this. But every once in a while you just see like just Arthur Fist struggling not to just obliterate this mushroom child.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that's it for the evening, I'm going to close that evening. A couple things happened overnight. I mentioned for Jasa the snippet of a conversation you might have overheard.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that happens is I think this probably happens to Dulfix. Dulfix, you fall asleep and you have terrible dreams, terrible, vivid dreams that you don't remember the likes of which you have had before. You see, in your dreams, you see like just shadows coming from everywhere trying to assail you. And I think the rest of you, as these dreams progress, he wakes up most of you in the middle of the night with these dreams. You're in your dreams, you are with the rest of the people in the prison, but you're just trapped in mazes. And every corner of the maze, a shadow comes out and reaches out and tries to grab you and forces you to turn in another direction, and you run down that direction. You feel tentacles come up, like trying to grab at your feet, and they above you. You can't see what's above you, but you just hear buzzing and howling. As you run down this maze, like the walls open into like gushing wounds, and you see spores similar to what stool shoots out, but like foul smelling and oily shoot out. And from another wound, just masses of maggots and insects just crawl and buzz out. And you just wake up in a cold sweat, just completely unlike any other dream that you have ever experienced before in your life. And like I said, probably the majority of you heard his yelps and his sort of cries from his sleep as he experienced this.
Answer me this. How are we supposed to escape tomorrow or the next day if you keep interrupting all of our rests with your incessant screaming and noises? If you want to be put to sleep, I can certainly oblige you and make you go to sleep permanently.
It's dark.
Apologies. Was that me?
Yeah, you were kind of being a little raucous last night there, Dolphix.
It was terrible dream. Terrible dream. Are you sure this is going to work out?
No, not in the least. But I'm hopeful.
Well, putting a lot on your hopes, so.
I hope that we're all hopeful.
Look, we don't all know each other all that well, but we're all we got, We're kind of one big family down here in this cell. We got to look out for each other.
We only have problem. He make noise when he sleep, so not escape when he's sleeping. Solved.
Stool.
I scoff.
Thank you, Drazzle. Beginning to see you as a true friend.
No, never sleep. We always.
Okay. That
Little
may be
bit
a little
sleep.
too far.
I will stay awake with you.
I'm touched.
Eldith is still snoring through the whole thing. She never woke up. Stool sort of sympathetically walks over and plops himself down to you and is sort of touching you. And then you hear Bapito be like, Bapito needs sleep. And he rolls over with his back to you and
So do I. And I just harumph onto my corner and try to get some sleep.
Well, you should have ample time to sleep since they don't let you leave the cell. We'll go do the chores.
I just growl and grimace.
Yes, apologies, everyone. Back to sleep.
Stress affects us all differently. You're fine.
Who's the most likely to wake up the earliest amongst you?
It sounds like Drazzle.
I usually wake up with the sun, so I'm usually an early riser.
Now you never wake up? Okay. All right. So Drazzle, you open your second eyelid and you see a shape outside the door staring in at you.
Hello.
You look closer and you see it is Joron again. And there's a couple things that are weird about this. You don't remember the last time that you saw the same guard twice in front of the door. This would definitely be a different period of time. Normally these rotations, and Jorlan's in a position of authority, so it's never been Jorlan or Shore who is standing outside your door.
Hello, friend. How are you? No sleep?
He sort of does the sort of waggle of the finger, encouraging you to come closer to the door.
I waddle my way to the door, put my snout up against it, or just below it, so my eyes are looking at him.
And you see him start to pass the bowls of soup through, the mushroom soup.
Yeah.
This is much earlier than you would ever receive them before. And as he's passing them, he says to you, if I could give you a way to get out, would you take it?
With soup? Yes.
He looks at you strangely, like he's confused.
Yes. Way out? Very good.
And he realizes that you don't really understand him well. And so he starts to make the sort of hand gesture shapes. He says, tonight, door unlocked. I leave. You run. And he hands over the last bowl of soup to you through the grate.
Mr. Man,
He walks.
which way run?
He just walks off.
And I start to drink the first bowl of soup, thinking how this is great. We get soup early and then soup at normal time.
Well, technically, you got 15 soups. Everyone else is asleep, so you can play that one out as much as you want. He just handed you a lot of soups. While he was talking to you, how many of them did you drink?
Well, I first one I got, I just drank it because I thought this was him being nice to me and giving me extra food. So maybe 2 or 3 before I realized he just kept handing them to me. And so I just started setting them down.
No one wants to admit that they ate 8 cans of ravioli.
And then I just I lay them out all around me. And I kind of sit down inside of them.
Okay.
And I think, okay, maybe I should, how much earlier am I awake before we would normally get soup?
Soup would normally come midday, so this is really early.
So I go to the first person that I can see, that I think I should talk to. And I think Yice is smart. Always seems to be trying to do something. I don't always know what it is, so I go over there and I go, soup early. Eat now?
Oh, yes. Is it early? It's hard to tell.
All soup here now. Dark man, give us way out.
Wait, that's two thoughts.
Yeah,
So
but
We
more,
should-
more than two soup.
we should make sure everyone has food then, because it's likely they won't bring it again.
Oh, I did
But-
not think that.
But
Maybe
who's
bonus soup.
telling you there's a way out?
Dark man outside door.
You're going to need to be a bit more specific. All Drow are fairly dark.
Ugly dark man.
Okay, that does narrow it down.
Same dark man as yesterday.
The one with the scars.
Yeah. Before today, dark man. Also today, dark man.
And he thinks he's offering you a way out?
He say tonight, door open.
Well, I don't think that changes any of our planning, but it might make it easier to slip out.
And maybe him friend.
I doubt that. But maybe an enemy of an enemy.
But for now, soup, yes?
Yes. Some of these bowls are empty.
I thought bonus soup. Maybe we drink all soup now and we get regular soup regular time.
Maybe we carefully portion out the remaining soup so that all the bowls have just a bit less in them. And everyone
if-
gets some.
We should all eat soup now, so if soup come later, they don't know, and we get
As-
more soup.
As I understand it, though, you did eat soup.
But there more soup.
Yes, but there's several people who haven't had any.
That's why this bonus soup. They get later soup.
And we need them all to have strength if we're going to make an escape attempt. So let's portion it out and give everyone some soup. And if we get more soup later, then great. But if we don't, at least everyone will have some energy.
I think we should eat soup now.
Yes, I think we should. I think you have.
Because if soup's sitting there, I eat. I'm sorry, I eat.
All right. I'm going to carefully give the soup out to everyone. And try to portion it out so that all the bowls have some in them.
You give another full bowl back to Drazzle.
I will give Drazzle back a partially full bowl, just like I'm giving everyone else.
Just pour in my hands. No bowl.
Drazzle has gotten 3 and 15 divided by 8, or 8 divided by 15 bowls of soup. So,
Yep.
but
Really,
Yeah,
I'm going to give this to you because I think that I don't want to have the argument about why you didn't get one.
So, first and foremost, everyone should take inspiration. For those, I explained it earlier, but for those of you watching in the audience, the XP store is actually open. There's some changes to the gifts, but they're all super useful. So, or unless you, Wandering Monster is, we'll just introduce a complication. It may be a monster, it may be something else. So all of you take inspiration. Inspiration works like 5e rules. You can only have it once. And you have to announce it before you're doing the roll. However, for those of you who are buying inspiration in the chat, those go to a pool of reroll tokens, which people can use on one time per roll. And that allows them to actually re-roll the entire roll.
And those
After they've seen the
and those hold over from one session to another.
they do. Currently, you guys have 4.
5 because
5.
Pruno bought one at the beginning.
Oh,
of the session.
sorry, I totally missed it. We're up to 5. Thank you, Bruno. So we have 5 total. Anyone can use them, and I will even say the NPCs can use them. So if you guys I won't take them away from you if you guys want an NPC roll to be re-rolled.
So as everyone's waking up and I'm giving them soup, I will relay to them what Drazzle said, that it sounds like the one Drow, Jolnar, was that?
Jorlan.
Jorlan. I got all the right letters, just in the wrong order. Is going, it sounds like maybe offering some assistance in the escape. I don't think we should bank on it, but it might make things easier as we get to the end of the day.
Well,
Sure.
I've got two thoughts. First one, morning soup is the best soup. This is awesome. I don't know what y'all did to get this bonus soup, but Vic's a big fan. Second of all, I was thinking this Jorlan. I don't know. Maybe it seems like a risky thing. I think we trust him. From what we're hearing, he has reason to have beef with Ilvara. This is a good thing.
I think we trust him with measure. I think we trust him to open the door because it serves him if we escape, but I don't think we trust him beyond that.
Probably won't see him beyond that.
I hope you're right, really.
Gosh. Well, he could have at least filled the bowls up. My goodness.
Morning soup less than afternoon soup.
If we even get it.
There seems to be some hope that there will be a second round of soup, though I wouldn't bet on it.
You
This
know
may
what?
be
I bet
bonus
what
soup.
happened. I bet they talked to a nutritionist. You know, one meal a day. That ain't good. Maybe they're portioning out soup, half the soup in the morning, half the soup in the afternoon. You know, kind of spread out the calories, get the energy flowing more efficiently. Like, I bet
Yes.
that's what's going on.
Is this conversation sport chat or is it otherwise? Remember, you have 3 sport chats a day or an hour.
Otherwise, I would say otherwise.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Do we want to use ask Stool to provide one of the spore chats as we're leaving so that we can have some communication for the first hour that we work?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
makes sense.
The things that we see.
Corey, do we know? Is there a range limit on that we've noticed?
I was just looking at it. You have to be within 30 feet of each other.
Oh, okay.
No.
To communicate or to get the effect?
The effect's within 10 feet.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
communicates 30. So
So
it's not long distance or anything.
But if
Why
we got
do you
it,
do this
and
to
those
us,
was-
DM?
if we got it, those of us near each other could maybe like a relay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 of you are on the same task or very near to each other. Like to give you, if we're going back to the map, remember quite a few of you were over in this area. I'm looking at the overhead map.
Yeah.
Like quite a few of you were all in the same exact area, so
Mhm.
it may still be useful.
Well, I'd say we go about our tasks and attempt to acquire what we can.
What? Let's see. So your tasks for the day. I think all of these you guys have done before. But if one of you wants an explanation, a further explanation. Vic, they have you. I think they have you washing dishes, and that's going to be up here. You see where I'm clicking?
Yes.
Uh,
That's we had somebody do that before, and they were more heavily watched. Right? There's like somebody in there with them.
there were, there was someone in there, and so that Drazzle was there before.
Kitchen.
They have, let's see. sorry, I'm just doing this sort of somewhat randomly. Can I see names? There it is. Dolphix. They send you to these two towers, the ones on either side of the lift, and you're just cleaning. Like you're sweeping out cobwebs, you're like not the good cobwebs, the bad cobwebs, so you get yelled at a lot because you've never realized the difference. Changing sheets on beds, stuff like that. Zalm, you are emptying chamber pots today.
Disgusting.
Who am I missing? Drazzle, you're doing laundry, so you're mostly over near the waterfall.
Perfect.
And then who am I? I'm missing just
Jason.
right? So Jason, you're on food prep, and it's a little awkward for you because they're not built like the sinks and like everything's like a little higher than you are.
Mm-hmm.
How do these jobs get doled out? Do we go, to a foreman who like gives us our assignment?
A
Or...
foreman.
No. It's basically like one of the guards comes up and there's like, you two come up, and so you have some of the NPCs with you. And
Okay.
So,
So, if there's an opportunity, and you can tell me if like this is not how it works out, but if there's an opportunity, I get my assignment, right? But then I hear Zom get his assignment or whatever. If I could be like, whoa, like go and talk to the guard or whatever, be like, hey, real quick, little touch base. Zom over there, remember what happened last time? He really hates changing the chamber pots. He's been really irritable these past couple of nights because somebody hasn't been sleeping so well. And I'm thumbing over by my gnome friend, Dolphix. So I'm like, look, I think we could all save each other a ton of trouble if we just swap. Keep him washing dishes, keep an eye on him.
I'm going to say a deception check because I think that's
that's fair.
What your name is deception.
Can I use a reroll?
You can.
Oh jeez. Oh god.
Because if I'm in there doing the dishes, I won't be able to take advantage of the plan.
Where are the rest of us standing right now? Are any of us still near him while this happens?
Yeah, I mean, you're still basically in the cell. Why?
We're all being assigned.
But are we still in the cell, or are we outside as this happens?
You're in the cell.
Okay.
They're just they're grabbing you from the cell one by one to assign you to tasks.
So, question about this next roll. I'm using a reroll. Can I burn that inspiration you just gave to give this reroll advantage? I'm gonna do that because man, that was a very sad roll.
Combo.
Okay.
Nice.
Yay! There we go.
So, he looks over at Zalm, and he looks over at you, and he looks over at Zalm, and he looks over at you, and he's like, "I don't care who fucking cleans shit." And he pulls you, and he sends you on chamber pot.
I'm gonna go over by Zom like it's a big celebration. Like, good news, buddy! You don't have to clean shit pots tonight. You get to wash just the dishes. All those soup bowls we just were eating all that soup out of.
No happiness on my face.
I'll take that as a win.
Yes. I just walk away. Let's just walk to the dishes.
All right. Anything else before you go on your tasks?
Corey, did they take the bowls from us, or how?
No, the bowls just sit in your cell.
I'm just gonna try and grab one. As I say, I'm heading out. I'm just gonna kind of carry one of my bowls, hoping I can find where the soup is.
Are you doing this openly, or are you doing this?
I'm just kind of holding on to it, sort of like it's just the thing I always would carry. It's my soup bowl. I got it in the morning. We're gonna go find more soup. I don't know how big it is. I don't know whether it's something I would, be able to stick in a pocket. I don't know if I have pockets.
I don't think you really have pockets.
Pockets.
So I can put it on my hat as a hat.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I think all those emotions that were going through your head, Corey, are exactly what the guards were going through.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right.
This is
Really,
this is
he's
all
not
useful
allowed to do this, but I
information.
don't know that I care.
It's,
This is all useful. For the
Okay.
rest of the campaign, we know how to properly motivate Drazzle. It's soup, man. There's soup that way.
I'm quite pleased as I go about whatever my task is.
Okay.
Wait until we tell him about supper time, where you get 3 meals a day.
Okay. You have the bowl. Anyone else before you guys leave?
No.
I'm gonna end with you, Alex, just because you I think will have the most complicated. What are each of you hoping to accomplish? So let's start with Jason.
I would like to try to squirrel away a couple of pieces of silverware as I'm prepping food.
Basically, with the intent of creating a makeshift thieves kit tool.
Yes.
Thieves.
Yep.
Tool kit.
Who of the NPCs is with me?
I can dole those out. Let's say with you is going to be Stool.
That's convenient because his namesake is gonna come into play, so I can reach.
And you have Topsy and Turvy. You have all the shorties with you.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Profile.
Team Tiny.
So I will telepathically ask Stool if it's okay if I stand on him so that I can reach in order to do this.
They have things you can get.
Okay.
Pull over there, so. It looks a little awkward, but yeah, they want to eat. They're not going to stop you from.
Yeah.
You hear lots of jokes about you though. All right. Make me. Let's see. I'm going to sit. You're going to steal a couple. Okay. So I'm going to set a DC.
So I would like to take the time to watch for the best openings, sort of relying on my perception to find the best opportunities to do that.
So it's actually probably pretty easy to hide it on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty because you have everything, right?
Yeah.
The problem is hiding it on yourself is the challenge,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and certainly you can take time to look for stuff. It's more going to take the time to look for the perfect time.
Yeah.
The issue more is how do you hide it on you?
Mm-hmm.
But you have 3 accomplices, right?
Yeah.
So we'll say that it's going to take 3.
And Topsy and Turvy had helped me with distractions to steal the dagger, so we have a thing worked out.
Okay. So you're going to distract them to get the silverware. Who are you hiding it all on yourself, or are you going to hide it with the other 3? Let's say you think you need a fork, a knife, 2 forks and a knife or something.
Sure.
To do this.
Well, telepathically, I would ask Topsy and Turvy if they feel like they could squirrel these away, if they have a place on them that they could hide them.
They're very motivated to escape, so absolutely.
So I would say we'll try to get 1 piece on each of us.
Okay.
Because I don't think Stool has anywhere it could really be hidden.
Yeah, he's a mushroom. So I'm gonna say
He's a very good mushroom.
Sleight of hand checks are dexterity based, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that means you all have disadvantage on this, I believe. I think it's restrained.
Oh. I was like, why do I have disadvantage? Oh, yeah.
Right? And restrained is dex based, or
I
is it
think
just
it's only disadvantage on dexterity saves against
That's possible, yeah.
effects.
See restrained. Can I put this up? No. Yep, just saving throws. You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay. So Topsy Turvy. Okay, each of you are going to do one sleight of hand check for me.
I will go ahead and use inspiration.
Okay.
I did well on that.
Named NPCs. So Topsy. Topsy, what do you have?
Did you use your inspiration for that?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, actually, Topsy and Turvy are pretty good. So, not great, but pretty good. Okay, so.
And I think that it probably would be a good idea to use rerolls if they become necessary on those.
Okay. So Topsy got a 5, but he's pretty good at it, but he still got a 5.
I think, yeah, we'll reroll that.
Topsy's like, you can see Topsy's like completely sticking out of, like he has a belt and it's just sticking out of it.
Yeah.
Turvy, and can one of you please remind me between sessions to turn off hiding
Whispered rolls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Turvy did a better job. Like, so also has a little belt, but made it horizontal at least to hide it.
Yeah.
You want to
Okay.
use one of Topsy's rerolls or one of the rerolls for Topsy?
Yeah, as long as everybody else is good with that, I think we should.
Yeah, I think we go all out on
yeah.
escaping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does a little bit better job, and you think it's passable.
And with as perceptive as I am, I guess if I think it's going to be passable, I feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're pretty, like you know it's there and you're looking, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say pairing that with I have very high insight, I have a good idea of what others might perceive too.
Right. So yeah, as far as you can tell, it is completely hidden, and you think the guards will be able to walk by the guards.
Sure. Sounds good.
All right. Anything else, real quick?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Drazzle.
So I was sent with what task?
You are at laundry, I said, right?
Yeah, you said I'm over here by the waterfall. You said laundry, but I don't know how that works.
Okay. So basically what happens is some of the Quaggoth, but mostly it is actually it's Dolphix who is bringing like sheets and stuff like that out to you, and you're using there's some water basins next to the waterfall.
Okay.
That are constantly filled, and you're just sort of washing. And occasionally, to dry them, you hang them on a spider thread that's across.
Okay. And so I'm reaching out into the water to get into the waterfall. They bring water in for these, or they're
No. There's some pools that are automatically flowing in. You could reach in the waterfall if you wanted to, but you don't.
But there's like a big pot or a cauldron or something that.
It is all cold. It is all cold water washing that you're doing.
Okay. But in a pot or a bowl, or just in hollows into stone?
In in the stones carved out.
Okay. So there's no tool type event or thing that I could access. It's just stone.
There might be
water.
one of those, old fashioned rubbing boards, but that's about it.
Okay. Any of the things that are in there, they all uniform like sheets. There's no any skins or leathers or anything of different material.
It's just mostly like cloth things, silk, right? Because there's tons of silk around. But yeah, it's mostly cloth and silk. Maybe a piece of leather or two, but it's like belt or something. Like you do something pretty standard.
Okay. I'm thinking I might try if I can acquire one of the belts. Would it wrap around me? Would it fit in with around my girth? I've seen it's much smaller.
If you got one of the belts,
Yeah.
it's a little. I mean, you could make it, but it's a little. There is a guard there. Like it would be, like if you tried things on, You have the good sense that might not go over well.
Like, what the hell are you doing?
Okay, take a look. Chew on the leather. You'd notice that too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got sheets. I've got some leather pieces. I don't see there's much that I don't have any place to tuck it away either. So I'm mostly relying on natural armor, so I don't really have any clothing pockets to hide things in. So it's really just bluffing my way through like the bowl. You know, can I entertain the guard enough by trying to do something?
Yeah, the bowl's on your head.
Yeah. But the idea of him seeing me as a clown who's putting things on like that, possibly taking the belt and looking at it, that's how I'm trying to make it seem more comical than anything else.
Okay.
Like, I have a belt.
Does it go with my soup hat?
Yeah.
What? So then make a performance, I guess. Check.
All right.
They beat your ass.
It's the time. Magic to happen.
Yeah.
We're not using a reroll on your on your dress up time.
Yeah, they beat your ass. They put on their size 12 Tims and they just start stomping in your face. It's what happens.
Are you re-rolling or no?
No, I'm certainly
No,
not.
hell no.
No.
He takes out his short sword and he sends a whack at you. Let's see with the blunt side of the short sword. Nope, that's a quick off. 1 second. Find the Drow. Does an 11 hit?
No, it wouldn't.
So he hits you, and he looks very, very serious. He hits you. He doesn't cause damage. He hits you, and your armor sort of just absorbs it. So you got spanked a little, but he's staring at you and yelling at you to take it off.
Okay.
And stop fucking around.
So I take it off and I put it back down and do the rest of the laundry work I'm trying to. And I'm at the same time just trying to get a little bit of what I really want out of this, Corey, is I want something that I could get wet and maintain with me, that I could then use the water from it, bless it, and have holy water for a spell. So I need to have a way to contain water, and I don't have any possessions that could. So
Okay.
that's sort of the intent. I'm looking for something that I could get wet, soaked, carry with me, that would maintain moisture. That's why I was looking at the belt would be damp for longer, or a cloth.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm gonna skip that thought for you, just because I think it's
Hey, if it's useless, don't worry
you're
about
not
it.
gonna get enough water.
Yeah,
from-
that's the whole point of what I was doing. If it's not getting anywhere, that's fine.
But I will say, as near the end of your duty, you do spot an unusual garment. There appears to be a very, very nicely woven nightcap. You've never seen a Drow wear a nightcap before. But this one has little tiny spiders all over it.
Like sewn into it, not crawling all over.
Sewn into it.
Would it fit inside my big meaty paw?
It would fit inside the bowl on top of your head, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might give that a whirl.
Okay. So,
Who's with me?
let's see, who would be with you? There's probably not a lot of people with you because it's not, but they made Darendil go to the work on the lift. So it's Bapito. Bapito's
Bapito.
just like Bapitoing you nonstop.
I just say, I go, Bapito guard now. Need cloud, distract. Bapito him.
They can hear you. Guards can hear you.
I thought we had the telepathy if we were in 30 feet
Yeah,
of
this,
each other.
this is the end of your shift. This is
Okay.
very, very end of your shift.
Okay. And I just try to make eyes at him. Go,
Okay. Okay. So Pepito tries to distract the guard. Make me a sleight of hand check.
Hopefully better.
All right. You get the nightcap under your bowl, and the guard seems not to. Bupito sort of is Bupitoing the guard to death, and you see that the guard just he does inflict a wound on Bupito, and Bupito you see sort of like curls into a ball, and you see like
No.
No.
Bupito's face contorts into a much more angry face than you've ever seen for like just a second, and then it passes. But Pepito is bleeding.
Okay.
No.
Pepito,
Secrets.
Pepito, good. We good. We're almost done. We can leave.
I think. Give me 1 second, Scott. Maybe you hear one more thing. As do this 1 second. I just have to look one thing up real quick. You are almost certain you hear Bupito just talking nonsense. The only thing, like as he's curled up in a ball bleeding, and all you think you hear is you think you hear the word Morazon. But that's all. You have no clue what that means. You have no.
Like tiene razón. Like he's right.
It's just Morazon.
Razón. Okay.
You're not really sure what that could be. And then he sort of sees you staring at him, and he sort of gets up, and you two are sent back to the cell at the end of your shift.
How does he walk us back to the cell?
Through that guard tower. That's it. You have to, like, there's no walkway.
So he's kind of like behind us, and we're in front. He kind of prods us forward.
Yeah, like if here, let me zoom in. I drew this little orange dot over there last time. But let's say he's at this orange dot to the left, and then you guys walk across this bridge through this tower, and then over to that bridge.
Okay.
All right. Narratively takes forever. Let's see. Next up is Zelm.
Zom. What will Zom do? Zom's just literally just washing dishes, mad at life.
Yep. There's a couple in that area. There's a couple Drow who are sitting at a table playing cards. So there's no one actively watching you, but there's Drow there. You do have silverware around you. Like you could try to steal something if you wanted to.
I go for a knife.
Okay. Make me a sleight of hand check, and you'll have advantage because no one's paying attention.
Oh, good. I need it because it's not going to be good for me. Let's see. Will this roll? Did it do it? No, I can't do.
There you go. Yep, you got it.
Whoa, natural 20, even though it's my. Oh wait, no. Oh well, yeah, it's natural 20. -1 though.
Yep. So no problem. You find a place in to sort of hide it amongst your the undergarments you're wearing, and no one's the wiser. You took advantage of a time that like someone lost a big bet of money, and Jim Jar is with you. And Jim Jar says, I bet you 20 gold you can't steal another.
I smile. And I'm like, you're really trying to get me killed.
And a big grin comes over his face.
I won't. I won't get that lucky again.
You pick him up on the bet. He's like, I always pay my bets.
Don't do it.
I'm quite all right, Jim Jar.
So,
I think that's the first time I've laughed in a while.
he seems a little disappointed in you. You two go back to washing dishes. Let's see. I have next Dolphix. So, is there anything specific you want to accomplish while you're out?
I assume I am being watched.
You're definitely being watched closely, but you probably have like I don't remember who did this last time. This task, someone did a similar task. You are seeing how much like weaponry and how much armor are in here. Like, if there's any way that you realize that you might be able to, if your escape plan included coming into these areas, you might be able to pick up a few things for yourself.
Okay. And so this is where conceivably everyone stores their weapons.
Yeah, there's one that just the guard like barracks almost, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a couple there's a couple levels to it. So like upstairs is more of the actual sleeping area. Also some turrets arrow slits sort of looking out into the darkness. And then I guess you can see, so you would be able to see a little bit far out, but you can tell it's a big space. And then downstairs is more of break room sort of command posts.
Okay. And these arrow slits don't have coverings on them; they're just openings through the.
Yeah, they're openings. Okay. Standard arrow.
Okay. And I'm bringing out like linens and bed sheets and things out to Drazzle. Is there anything that looks like it would be equivalent to like a strip of wool or a cloth of wool that would be suitable for a material component for a spell?
If you want, you could find like a. Do you specifically need wool, or do you need?
Well, the spell says it needs to be wool, but.
So there's no sheep here, right? So.
Right, that's why I ask.
But you do find a silk sock. You could probably try to pocket if you wanted. You think maybe. Or
sorry, it's a bit of fleece, not wool.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely like animal fur down here. So yeah.
Okay.
You find some like fleece socks or something relatively small.
Yeah, I'll try to pocket one of the socks because I know it'd be way too suspicious if I pocketed both of them. Everyone always loses one sock.
That's true.
As you're carrying the stuff over to where Drazzle and Bupito are washing it, you take the opportunity. Well, like the guard just waits at the stalactite, talking to the other guards as he's watching you from afar. So give me a sleight of hand check.
All right, I'm gonna burn my inspiration on this. Okay, here we go.
No problem. You manage to sort of tuck it in, and you probably do the thing where like you tuck it between your legs, and you're just sort of walking awkwardly for the rest of the time as you manage to pocket it since you don't have pockets.
Yeah, and then I guess when I finish my shift, I'm just gonna make sure all the doors are closed, like every possible thing that is required to be opened to get like in and out of rooms and towers are closed to ensure they have to do everything to open these doors.
Okay.
Just to buy us more time.
One last thing, as you to narrate the sock portion, as you pick the sock up, a tiny little spider jumped off the sock and crawled up your arm, and at first you sort of freaked out, but it sort of just crawled into the folds of that leather armor. You're wearing the leather armor that's folded over, right?
I am not. No,
that's me.
That's Jason.
Oh, that's sorry.
Yeah.
So it walks the folds of the robe you're wearing, and it just seems to like have a it seems to be hanging out there. It doesn't seem to be.
Hmm.
Kill it. Kill it with fire.
So,
Oh,
I apologize. I
Let's-
did that in the wrong order.
love all creatures. Big and small. As I'm going through those rooms, the barracks, like, do the amount of like beds equate to the amount of people we've seen?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. They're not like hiding a squad of
Oh
drones.
no. Yeah.
Okay.
So I gave you those numbers, but it's like
Right.
19 Drow total. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. All right.
Yep.
I think that's all I'm gonna do.
Okay. And last but not least, Vic. So, tell me this full plan.
So the plan is, probably at the point when I think I'm depositing the bed pans or whatever, the chamber
Right.
pots by the waterfall. That's when I'm over there. That is when I am trying my damnedest to like keep an eye out on like if I'm being watched.
Okay.
And at the moment that I think I might have a moment to like do my disguise self, I would like to don the appearance of one of the Drow guards, preferably one that I've actually seen, maybe
Okay.
use that door, so that it's not weird if I have an altercation in there.
Okay.
And then once,
Now-
if that part of it works out, my plan is I seem to remember from last time that that door wasn't necessarily locked, so I want to go up there and try to go in.
Okay. And you're talking about the center, the big stalactite, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to our stuff.
Okay. So, a couple things just to throw some wrenches in here. First, you have not seen Shore and Ilvar come out of there since last night. You haven't seen them around at all. So your sense is that they are probably in there.
Do I have the sense of the place as it is on the side view that it's multiple levels, and so
I
that
think
there's a
you'd have-
chance if I
all of-
walk in that they're not necessarily in that first area?
You don't know necessarily how those levels are laid out, but you would have the sense that there's multiple levels because all the other ones have multiple levels, and this one's even bigger.
Because if I think that there's at least a chance, I think I'm still going to be willing to take the gamble under the disguise that I donned to maybe go in there.
Okay. So let's see. I think I'm gonna have you make a stealth check first.
Okay, so self-check for the casting of the spell.
Yeah, and the whole sort of looking for an opportunity of casting the spell.
Okay.
All right. It's the same roll, right? I assume. It's sleight of hand.
Oh, sorry.
It's
no,
probably
it would be my 2 off of that, so 14, 17.
okay.
Or I could just roll it too.
Were you using advantage or no?
I was not, so it'd be the first roll for the 14.
So yeah, you find a spot there. Like they don't really want to follow you around cleaning pots, so they are they're more than happy to, like watch you from a distance as you walk back and forth. So you wait for a time when they're talking to someone else, and you
And then
go.
I'll cast Disguise Self then.
Okay. And you walk into that room, and it's the first time any of you have been in that room. So let me tell you something about it. Sorry. Okay, as you are standing in the doorway, you see dark silken mats with like they're woven with a design in silvery thread all around. In the middle of the chamber, at the center of the web, is a 10-foot high sculpted spider. Make me a perception check real quick. Um, it appears to be alive too.
Okay.
In the light, it looks like
Alive
it is
as in it's like a actual living spider, or it's like an animated
correct.
statue.
It looks like it's a
Okay.
living spider in there, based on what you can see. You are sort of in the threshold doorway.
Okay. Scanning about
right,
the
Rick.
room.
Yeah. Hold on. You can see. See if there's something else. You can see a small bed off to the side. And you see, I think, a small staircase. There's behind that where the spider is, you see a set of like pillows that are like stacked pretty high. Off to the side of that is that like bedroll area. And to the other side of that, you see stairs going down.
This doesn't seem to be a storage area.
This seems to be some sort of temple. It's your best guess.
Okay.
And it looks like someone also sleeps in here.
Spider is staring at me.
Yep. It's hard to tell. Like the light in here, it's not perfect. There is some light.
I'm gonna walk towards the stairs like this is normal. I'm supposed to be here, and I'm doing a thing. So I'm gonna go to the stairs.
Okay, 1 second.
The spider has true sight. Run.
That would be bad.
Why don't you you make me a roll right now at 1d6. I'll let you do this.
The old 1d6.
The old 1d6.
So you start to and then make me a quick perception check, please.
Ooh.
You start to walk towards the spider, and you realize that it's a statue, right? And this is definitely some sort of temple. As you continue walking towards the stairs, you can see that the cushions behind are like a sitting area that like maybe like the living area of whoever this bedroll is for. And you also see, what else would you see? You see on the altar there's looks like some valuable candlesticks sitting on there, silver, with some thick black candles inside them. And then you do see in the statue itself are the statue seems to be made of wood. But one of the things that confused you and one of the things you saw were that the 8 eyes seem to be a gemstone. 4 big gemstones and then 4 small ones.
What do I know? Probably nothing to next to nothing, but I'll just throw it out there. Do I know anything about Drow, like Loth and her religion, in terms of like, is there anything that I could do here as a sign of deference, to this statue to show like?
Make me a quick religion check. You believe the best way.
Vic's just like humming a little song like Spider Queen.
You hug the statue is your best memory.
Your
best
love is so clean. Yeah. I like it. It's a good statue. Okay. I'm not here to loot gems or deface religious statues, so I'm gonna just kind of leave well alone and continue towards those stairs, hoping to find a more like a storage area where our stuff is. I'll probably listen at the top of the stairs. I want to listen if there's any conversation going on down there.
Before you even get there, as you turn back from the statue to the stairs, standing there on top of the stairs, hanging on the wall, is a giant spider just staring at you. Its mandibles sort of doing that giant spider thing. And it is scrutinizing you quite intently.
I'll stop there and just kind of stare back, and I make what I think is a cool looking Drow like face off.
Okay.
I'm not scared.
You hear it sort of click its mandibles at you. What the hell did you see? Do you do anything?
Just for a moment, just kind of little bit of a stare off, maybe for a few seconds, and then I'm gonna, if I don't hear, a few moments just for perception to kind of hear down the stairway as I'm staring off.
So it is blocking the stairway.
Oh, it's blocking. Okay, it's not on.
Yeah, like it is right.
Okay.
It's on the wall in front of, like, you would have to like be like, "Excuse me, spider."
I've heard the Drow. Do they speak Elvish, or are they speaking like Undercommon or
Elvish and Undercommon, depending on who they're talking to. But
Okay, so I speak Elvish, so I'm gonna try to pull this off. I'm gonna probably say, I'm gonna invoke Ilvara's name and be like, Ilvara has sent for me.
Okay. How?
I said I wasn't gonna push it, but now here I am. I'm pushing it. I want
Yeah.
to find the stuff.
Yeah, I think what happens is you see some more frantic clicking of mandibles, and then you see its back legs start to start working its spinneret, and you start to see some spider silk coming out of the back. Spiders don't speak anything.
Like it's spinning a web down.
Like you're not super familiar. You can make a nature check.
Oh, there's the 20.
Yep. So
I don't know if this is the one I wanted to have, but
everything about this spider strikes you as this is aggressive right now.
okay.
Everything about this spider. That it is uncertain with what, like, something about you is not right.
I wonder what it could be.
At this point, maybe I'll just say in Elvish still trying to play up the ruse, like, if it's a bad time, I'll just come back. And I'll turn and go back towards the door.
Good. Are you continuing with the disguise self, or are you dropping it?
No, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it up as I leave.
Okay. Okay. You walk out, and so I'm gonna say you were with like Sareth, when you were doing chamber, and they would absolutely make him do chamber pot duty. And so Sareth is going back and forth, but there's probably like you probably can't keep the disguise up too long. Like they're gonna wonder where you are.
Yeah. If I can, I'll go over there and I'm gonna ask him about what happened in there. If he's got any insight.
To Sareth.
Yeah, he's Drow, right? Like he
Yeah, absolutely.
might know.
Yeah, and so you two have that conversation, and I think he probably is aware that her quarters are in there, Shore's quarters are in there, her new lover, and most likely that spider is like the temple spider, and you just made it so what word do I want? Like you were so conspicuous to it that it got suspicious about what was going on. Doesn't mean you couldn't pass by it, but it didn't think you didn't act like a normal drow to it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll
that's his best.
Looking around, like, do I have a sense? Do I have like 5 minutes, 10 minutes before maybe they come back to this spot where we're dumping out the chamber pots?
They're within eyesight. Like they always have been within eyesight. They're just in some sort of come.
Okay, I'll drop the disguise then and not push that any further. I'll be okay with knowing it's something. We know that there's a temple in there and guard spider that we got to deal with.
Okay. So why don't we? I think everyone's back for their tasks, right? Did I miss anyone? The only sort of in the completion of the tasks, the only thing I will say is I have good and bad news for Jasa. One of the knives fell out as you were walking back. I can show you the rolls. The re-roll was like a 7.
Okay.
Like the first one was a 6 and then the second one was a 7. So you have them, but you're gonna have disadvantage.
Okay.
So you'll have like it may just take you a few tries. Like I'm not gonna. It might.
If one of the knives fell out, could I substitute the dagger that I had previously stolen? To circumvent that?
If you want to requisition it to that, then yes, I'd allow that.
Would it then no longer be usable as a dagger?
Yeah, because I feel like you'd have to like it would be
file
like,
the end down or something.
Yeah, like with disadvantage though, you could use the fork and the knife that you have.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I'd rather keep a weapon and do that with disadvantage.
The good news for you though is, and I mentioned this earlier, is that you the knife that you did get is in like it's actually somewhat fancy.
Okay.
And it has that cornelian. So you have a 10 gold cornelian.
Nice.
So you can pry off at will. And so with that, I think we will take a quick break. And we will we'll come back in 5-7 minutes or so. Because I think things are about to go sideways.
Pear-shaped.
I just have this feeling.
All be going so well.
I was like, everything was going so well, though.
Yeah. Things are going well. Don't worry. I mean, from Jim Jar's point of view, everything's happening.
Yeah, but Jim Jar's point of view is everything is going to go as it's going to go.
Well, that's right. But that's right. That's good. Because things would be terrible if things started going not the way they were supposed to go. So, anyway.
That's confusing.
We'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Thank you for sticking around. Hey guys, we're back. when we left our people, they were slowly filing back into the cell. And after the day of tasks. And so I think we're at the point in the day where Drazzle is slowly realizing that soup is not coming.
It's supposed to be afternoon soup. So I'm just kind of looking at my bowl, mentally picturing if there was soup there and kind of contemplating it. Hoping it appears on its own. But as I take the soup bowl off my head and I see the other thing, I look at it and I kind of show it to the rest of the group, starting off with Yaisa. Like, got a hat, spiders, want?
I don't see that as being remarkably useful. It is a nice hat.
You do, with your perception, you do notice something, Jason.
Okay.
It's not a hat; it's underwear. But
That
Drazzle,
is a fine
but it is
hat,
very nice.
Drazzle.
Like there are,
If you have horns, can they both go out?
I can
Yes.
see why you thought that was a hat.
That is a
it was
fine
just
hat.
doubled over, and it was maybe a buff. He wasn't really sure.
Yes, it's a fine hat. You should keep it. It suits you.
Put it
It
back
was
underneath
quite
my bowl.
intimidating.
Fine. Eldeth and Sareth, I think, they fire up the sport chat, and
Once we're in the room and the door is closed, I'm going to start working on unlocking people.
okay. So what I will say is, because the guard is not outside, he's in the tower,
Yeah.
sort of staring at you from the tower. So what I'll say is that roughly, let's say every 20 minutes, you can, with the tools you have, you can get another person out.
Okay.
So,
I think that's fine. I think we'll take the time.
okay. With no rolls, just slowly working through it. So, and let me say, so that means that judging by the time that they normally come to do the shift change, Joron, you should be able to get 12 people out of their manacles by the time that happens.
Okay.
Not meaning you don't have to leave at that point, but just that's the next event in your day time.
Yeah. While I'm doing that, I will say to Darendel specifically, and to the group at large, if anyone thinks they can potentially get out of these without me doing it, I would go ahead.
Okay. So I'll figure out a way to do that in the when things happen. Eldeth and Sareth sort of fire. They encourage Stool to use Sport Chat because sort of as the tactician of the group, Eldeth, and then the smart one of the group, Sareth. They throw out this idea. Eldeth says, if we do make it to the floor and we start running, we have one thing that Ront did not have, and that is numbers. I think it's best if we perhaps go in different directions, at least temporarily. We need to make for a big city. And I think our best is Gracklstow, the Duragar city. The Drow won't go in it. They're too afraid of the dragon there. And amongst other things, maybe they would stop to buy things, but the Duragar are so xenophobic, they wouldn't be allowed in there for long. I think it's our safest bet. And Bupito's like, Bupito, Shushnar, and Bupito's from there, like Grekelstow. You guys knew that. Shushnar is very obligated to his people, and I must bring enlightenment back to Slobodop. And I suggest we go there first, and from there, you all can set off across the Dark Lake. Grekelstow is also on the Dark Lake. If some of us went by land, the others could travel across the lake. There are many boats, and my people are fishermen.
Jim Jar, where are you going ahead?
Jim Zara sort of shrugs and says, I'm not sure. You? Do you think this idea is good?
Well, not really so certain. This is all foreign to me. I just feel like a fish out of water whichever way I go. But seems to me we all got homes to get to.
Well, just remember you do owe me some money. And
I'll
I
get you
wouldn't.
your money, man. I'm good for it.
Well, either way, I guess I'll see you in Grekelstow with the money.
You got it. I keep my promises. One way or another, we get split up. I will find you. I'm going to pay you.
He's like,
You earned it.
I'm sure everything will be fine, my friend.
Everything always fine.
Topsy and Turvy, you hear them, or you hear Topsy. Topsy's, you hear them start to discuss Grekelstow. And you see the two of them actually, like, you're starting to get more and more the sense that, like, they can communicate with some sort of rudimentary sign language, having been around each other. If any of you want to make perception checks to figure out what they're talking about, I would allow that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Yeah.
Do you want us all to make perception checks?
It's whoever, yeah. I mean, whoever you don't. It would be if your character is actually interested in what they're talking about.
I'd be interested if only to learn a new type of language.
It has to be spoken language. This is not spoken language.
So just interested.
I know. So Drazzle, I think you and Vic. You hear you get the sense that there's an urgency for them. Like they have to get away. Like within a certain amount of time specifically.
Hey, Topsy-Turvy. Seems like you're feeling like you're under a lot of pressure here, under the gun, so to speak. You got timetable here. What? I mean, we're all eager to get on out of here, but what's going on? You know, let the rest of us in on it. We help each other out.
I nudge Jaisa and say, they want faster than normal. Go faster.
Like you, it's only Topsy, right? Turvey's not really talking. Topsy is specific about, like, if we can get to Grekelstow, everything will be fine. We'll be fine in Grekelstow. Bupito's like, Bupito, bring you around Grekelstow. Bupito introduce you to to Big Dragon. Show you good places.
Well, I for one would like to see that the children are safe foremost, and it seems like Stool is taken care of. So I would like to accompany the twins. Keep
So
them safe.
you see Stool sort of cling to Shushner when there's a discussion of like where like physically cling.
As mushrooms do.
Nestle next to the giant Quaggoth.
And Shushnar is advocating to go towards Blue. What was it?
Slubidope.
Bluebedope?
Oh, it just gets better with the Koatoa names. Just don't you wait.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the Grung. Any of the Grung names.
Yeah. So and Eldith and Sareth seem pretty like this is a smart thing to do. You guys at this point, you could convince them otherwise. You feel like you could sway this conversation without going into like all the opinions, or you could let this happen. And the idea of letting it happen would specifically be to make it harder to catch one of you.
Makes sense to me.
Jason, Drazzle, what do you think about all this? These different directions. This has got to be maddening for the two of you too. You haven't been down here all that long. What do you
Yeah,
think we should do?
I follow Best Group.
To be perfectly fair, one direction is the same as another. The only thing I know is that north is bad. So I'll go whichever way we go as long as it's away.
Opposite of bad is good. So, south.
What do we
As flawed as that logic is, I agree with it.
yeah.
Was someone about to ask?
You know, I hear them talking about this Gracklestone place. And Drow don't go there. Something about a dragon. Could be good reason they don't go that way. Could be that there's more trouble. So much trouble. It's too much for even the Drow to deal with.
Dragon's not all bad.
Bupito's. I think you get enough information out of Bupito that the dragon serves some purpose to the Duragar, particularly in mining and forging. And all of you know the Duragar as these master forgers. Instead of ornamentation, it's utility and industry.
Do they have a reputation for enslaving upsiders?
They don't. In fact, they were enslaved at a point. I don't know my Duragar history. So they would, but you do. There is a caste system in this town, and Sareth would absolutely know. Sareth would be more free, open. Sareth tells you that the Darrow are there as well, and the Darrow are like absolute second-rate citizens in this city.
And yet, Bupito wants to go there, so second-rate citizens must not be treated too poorly.
Bupito home. Delicious food.
I feel, Vic, that this is a question of the devil you know. And in this case, the devil we don't know is more appealing.
You suggesting Bluewood, whatever the name is, might be the way to go?
Sloopadoop, maybe.
Scooby-Doo.
You know, frankly, Jason, I don't know how you feel about things, but the fact that Boopido, or what's his name? I should know his name. He says it all the time. Bupito. He's going to the Grackles. This is our chance to kind of, split.
Split from what?
From hearing that infernal name incessantly 24/7, you know? I don't know. It gets on me. It wears on me a little bit, if I'm being honest.
I can see that. I've heard worse. Beto. I used to partner with a fellow named the Nasher, and all he ever said was the Nasher. It was horrible. It was every battle, over and over again. We get it, man. We get it. You've got a thing. Great. But it doesn't really do us any good.
Yeah, it's a little self-serving, a little yeah. You know, I'm all about self-promotion, but I mean, come on.
Every
just
battle,
not even
I'm going to nash them. I don't care if you're going to nash them. I've heard it before.
Okay, I think we're on the same page, is what I'm hearing. You know, let's go with the frog toad man. He's positive. He's got this whole spirituality thing.
I'd like to ensure that the most of us survive as can. So perhaps we split up those of us most capable amongst the teams.
Maybe we split bad one team, good my team.
Okay, I don't know. Are
Yes.
you guys like staying up late at night? Do you have like a rating system that you've pegged out who's number one, who's number two?
It's all of them with the fine hats are the good team.
Slow people, bad. Be fast. You can swim.
Okay. All right. Writing that down. Fast, quick, good.
No need armor. Strong.
Don't need armor. Oh, I thought you said don't eat armor, and I thought that was the dumbest thing you've said yet.
Try eat leather sometime.
All right, you didn't let me down. Good.
Smart team, strong team, decoy team. Not my team.
But we think it's a good idea. Two teams. We think that's a smart strategy. Split up.
There's certainly some logic to it.
Yeah.
I give my hat to other team, so dark people follow.
We're well outside of my area of expertise, so I'll defer to the judgment of the others.
Seems to me, though, us five here, I don't know, you all seem like you've got it together a little bit more than some of the crew that I mean, I've been down here the longest, and I can tell you, it's been messing with me a little bit. There's something about this place, I think, that's messing with minds and straight thinking. I really wouldn't mind sticking with a lot of you, whatever way this shakes up.
You look normal. I like normal. Others, weird.
I think it'd be hard-pressed to find normal in this group.
Fish
Say
face.
Drazzle
Weird.
calling me normal. We're different cultures. I sort of take a little bit of offense to that, but I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Well, my vote would be to head in the direction of this bloopadope place.
So all in favor of going to Rope-a-Dope?
Dope.
Well, perhaps the decision will be made for us, depending on what comes when we make our attempt to escape.
Yeah. I think we run away, and that is right direction.
True.
And
I agree
Jim
with-
Jar Sereth, which direction is Slobodope and which direction is Gracklestone?
And Sareth says, the fastest way, I believe, to Gracklestow would be through that south passage.
In Slobodo?
We'll pass the lift to the west. It's the easiest way to Dark Lake, and then to follow it around is Slobodo. It's going to be difficult because these paths are not well marked. Navigation skills are going to be necessary to get there. Sarath says that, and Shushnar agrees that they think Slobodope is only about 8 days away of travel, if it's steady travel. Grekelstow is going to be about 28 to 30.
So if we head to Slobodo, who is heading to Grekelstow directly?
So Bupito has been sort of the proponent of that group.
Mm-hmm.
Topsy and Turvey have also expressed they feel like the Koatoa is the place they could that village, the Slobodo. They couldn't. It's only Koatoa, at least in Slobodo, or at least in Grekelstow. There are other races and nationalities, whatever word you want.
Cultures.
Darendel, looking at them, Darendel really wants to get back to the surface, and he feels like his mindset is straight lines are better than the sidebars. Even though Sarath tries to convince him that, like, once you get to the lake, you can just travel easily in straight lines, but you have to take a sort of a shortcut to do it. But he's falling for it. He's saying Grekelstow is his best chance. Those they trade with the surface. They would know how to the paths up to the surface.
So it sounds like if the five of us stay together and we go to Slobodo, then it's Jim Jar, Topsy, Turvy, Darendil going to Grekelstow. Is that correct? And Bupito.
Bupito, Topsy Turvy, Jim Jar, Darendil. I think
those five. The five of you, how do you feel on your chances if you need to fight your way out of something?
You see, sort of, I think it's around this point, you notice that Darendil is sort of holding his broken shackles. And he's like, I feel quite well if I'm going to get to the surface.
That's a good indicator.
I will get to my ancient, or my elven home.
And if we can catch up with you and assist you, we will. But we'll be heading to Slobodo first. Is that agreed?
And Jim Jar says, and if we leave today, 40 days hence, there's a bar, a famous one in Grekelstow. I'll look it up for you. I don't remember its name off the top of my head.
I have a feeling that all of us could use a drink by then.
Earlier.
What's it called? Nope. Yeah, he describes this bar. I'm just not thinking the name of it at the moment. That's in Grekelstow. And Sarath, they all explain to you that Grekelstow is like a city that has an area for visitors, and then areas that are not, visitors are not allowed in. And this bar is like one of the easiest places to find within the visitors area.
Well, have plan. Get rest.
We got a big night ahead of us.
Get rest. Get soup.
You see, as this conversation sort of winding down, and as if you are all in agreement with that 40 days from now, your goal is that all of you, however you get there, is to be in Gracklstow.
Yeah, I think that's right.
We try.
You see Joron walk in front of the door, and he looks at all of you with his like the good part of his face is covered in shadow, and the bad part of his face, that's all that's seen. You hear a click in the door, and then he turns around and he walks away.
Go time.
All right. Well, first into the central tower to find our things. Yes,
Yeah.
and then to the lift.
And we all go together a lift.
No. We can't.
I'll say let's say, how many of you are there? There's 5 plus there's I think 9 of you. 8, 9. So it's been about 3 hours. So I'm going to say that you have gotten the chains off everyone.
Okay. Great.
Make that fairly easy. Just to or people have broken out or squeezed out of them.
Who thinks they could dive into the water safely? Who's a good swimmer?
I can swim.
Anyone else? Shushar? If the two of you were to remain above and lower the lift for the rest of us, and then could dive in at the waterfall, perhaps that would give us all a way out.
I'll run to waterfall. Wait.
Because
Yes.
someone needs to crank the lift.
Maybe I jump first and then crank lift from bottom.
I don't know if it cranks from the bottom. Unfortunately, we were unconscious at that point.
You would all know it cranks from the top. Like some like Darendil and Eldeth both worked on it. There's no crank in the bottom. When it's not in use, it's like the bucket is stored up.
Okay.
So my thought is that if we need people to crank it, if the two of you who are comfortable in water can lower us all and then dive down, that might be our best option.
And from my time at the washing point, I see that I'd be able to dive down without getting caught up in the web.
Yeah, although it's 100 feet. So there's a question of maybe you want to be caught in the web.
Yeah.
Right? Because like to partially break your fall.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it would kill you if you just jumped into the water below.
Okay.
But yeah, so you could, absolutely. And based on the flow of that river, you're guessing that more or less, right, if you jumped where the waterfall was, it would be pretty deep because it must have carved out that rock by now. Like it is
Right.
It's not going to be like.
But if I jump through the web, it looks as though it would slow me down, not trap me for spiders.
It might trap you.
Well, I mean, it's like
Get our equipment.
You might want that to happen.
If we get our equipment first, perhaps you can be caught in it and then cut yourself free.
Yeah, like, that might be a good thing that you.
Okay.
Because you're if you just free falled, you have the distinct feeling you would die.
Yeah.
Without something slowing that down significantly.
Okay. Perhaps the first course of action. Who's good at sneaking? I'm not bad. I can scout ahead a bit. Anyone else?
Okay. Not good.
Topsy and Turvy raise their hand.
So if the three of us scout ahead, perhaps we can take a look around and let you know when it's clear, and then everyone makes their way to that central tower. I think we want to be as hidden as possible for as long as possible.
You can see, let's say, a couple things you could see. Through the door, you can see the guards still awake in the tower, the stalactite in front of you. They're not looking directly at you, but they are there, conscious. So it's still like it's end of the day. It's not quite.
And are the tokens accurate? Are there 3 guards there?
Yeah, there are typically 3 guards there. You might not be able to see them right now, but there are typically like that's what you always saw. One of the supervisory guards, and then 2 of the normals.
Dolphix, have you been able to pilfer a weapon of any kind at all?
No, but thinking back, I probably should have.
Well,
And you said that you're studying magic. Do you have any at your disposal if we get out of this area?
Well, I did say I was learning magic. But yes, I do have some that may be of use to provide a distraction, perhaps.
well, I don't know how comfortable you are with a dagger, but I do have this. And what was it that I had, Corey? It was like a piece of
It's a guard of flint, right? Yeah.
or flint. Oh,
Yeah.
so something that could be a makeshift dagger. You
And
might...
I have this one, and I'll pull the dagger that I stole out of my belt, which is an actual steel dagger.
I have teeth.
I do know my way around the blade, so this small dagger would make me at least feel a little more comfortable.
Around this point, I think Dolphix and Drazzle as those with the highest passive perception.
I think that's me.
I think it's Jason.
Oh, it's still sorry, it's Jason. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong name. You hear a strange sound in the distance, something you haven't heard before.
I'll shush everybody and listen.
You hear a buzzing, like a drone. It's very faint, but it's based on like it has to be somewhat loud because you can hear it over the waterfall.
Yeah. I'm going to watch the guards to see if they react at all to it.
You do see them sort of looking around at each other.
I think there's something incoming. It might create a distraction. If those guards react and move away, that's our cue and we go.
I say we be patient and watch what happens.
The rest of you, as you sort of listen into the silence over the waterfall, you can start to hear it too. It's getting louder. And you see Jim Jar just sort of chuckling to himself.
Yeah, Jim Jar, we know fate made this happen. It's all part of a plan, but now's not the time for you. I told you so's.
You're right. According to the plan, now is not the time for I told you so. But I will give 100 gold to the first person willing to throw themselves down through those webs.
How much do I owe you?
I actually don't remember. I didn't write it down.
It was 20, but you did offer a double or nothing, but he didn't take you up on it.
Yeah, all right, that's what it was.
Oh, okay, I could get up on this. Done.
And Pupito is also super excited about the
What sound? What is?
It's getting louder, slowly louder. You now see like more Drow are like up. Like there was like Drow not on a shift, but you now see more Drow sort of out on the walkways, looking around. You don't see Elvira yet. You don't see Shore. You don't see Joron.
Do they seem focused away? Like, could we try to get behind them at this point?
Yeah, they're. I mean, they're looking all around at this point, but
But probably not back for
primarily,
their own
they're
wall.
not looking. They don't think the buzzing's coming from you.
Question: we haven't seen anyone emerge from this area.
You can see into that area, like at least the top part. You can see because they are looking at you through that area.
But they're not currently.
Oh.
Currently, they're looking away from us.
Yeah. Occasionally, they look around out whatever window they have.
Yeah.
I see. So they're not. They're on top of a tower. They're not in a room.
They are.
Is that right?
They are above. Yeah. See where the X are.
Oh, okay. That
And
changes how
they're
I'm
looking
thinking
down
of
at
this.
Does that make sense now?
Yeah. So they're on top of a watchtower, but there's like an inner room inside that tower.
Oh yeah. And they have some
Gotcha.
arrow slits
Okay.
and stuff like that they can look out. Yep. Like they could. I mean, it would be a tough shot, but they could shoot you with crossbow bolts from where they are. So the buzzing is slowly increasing, and you
think we
start
go if
to
they're
hear some shouts between the towers.
I think they're looking elsewhere. I think we take this opportunity to go.
Yeah. Let's give it
Agreed.
a slip.
No act, no exist. Start to kind of push the person in front of me towards the door. We go.
Yeah, I'm gonna head. I'm gonna take the lead. I'm gonna go.
So, real quick though, do we want to do this in shifts? So, like, maybe like 4 or 5 of us go at a time as a pod, so that we're not just like a line of ants coming
Yeah.
from the anthill.
Suddenly,
I think
We can time it maybe strategically.
You hear shrieking fill the cavern, like inhuman, just deathly shrieking, and you see alarms starting to be sounded by the Drow, like closer to you.
Say we go.
Yeah, I think we just go.
How's
I think
that?
we worry less about shifts and we go.
Okay.
As you put your hands on the door, you see up for you. Boop, boop. You see 4 of these creatures start to fly through the area. And at first, you can't figure out what exactly they are doing until you see 2 other creatures that they are chasing behind. And the Chasme, you don't know them. I don't think any of you would really have such expertise in demonology. The Chasme are flying through, and you can just hear this awful buzzing coming from them. And as they get anywhere near these stalactites, you see crossbow bolts just shooting out. By now, Elvira has woken. You start to see some magic.
What part of the stalactite does the magic come from?
For her, she's actually standing out. She's out. Like, she will eventually very closely be out on this platform out here.
Okay.
So she's out there. And so as you see them come, because all you can see, you're still technically inside your little cell.
Mm-hmm.
As you see them fly around the stalactite closest to you, you actually see like the guards inside start to just clutch their heads, and you see them fall over. And the four Chasme are flying around trying to kill the two Vroks, it looks like. Meanwhile, the Drow are trying to shoot all of them down. What would you guys like to do? Everyone's looking at the five of you.
I think we go.
Start to move to the door. And
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a better distraction.
Yeah.
You open the door and you see Bupito squeeze himself out in front of you. And you see him get to the edge outside your here. And you see him launch himself.
Okay.
And you hear a Bupito.
A Wilhelm
See ya
Bupito.
later.
You
Well,
hear
solution.
I guess he gets the 100 gold.
you hear no splash.
Okay.
All right, so we had to try to get our equipment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
As I step out, do I feel any difference in whether the magic would be effective? I'm going to try and contact myself with guidance as I step out.
Does guidance have a requirement?
No.
Well, it's going to
Just
have some
verbal and-
component.
Verbal and somatic, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, you can guidance yourself, absolutely.
No, it was just something I was doing, an easy way to test whether I feel my abilities are working.
Yep.
Be good. Good.
Okay, so what are you doing? You don't know, you cannot see fully into the stalactite in front of you. In order to get to where you think your weapons are, you will need to go through that stalactite.
Yeah.
The guards you could see dropped, seemingly.
I'm going to try to sneak in there and get a lay of the land.
Okay. Make me a quick stealth check. All right. So you get in there, and in the ground floor where you are, there is no one. You can hear some movement upstairs. You can also around you. Sorry. You guys know upstairs a bunch of weapons were stored.
Okay.
You do hear some movement up there.
And there's nothing in this room.
There's little there's not weapons.
There's nothing readily useful in this room.
Right.
I'm just going to signal back and tell everybody to come forward. And I'm going to head to the next door.
Okay. So the group of you, I think you see Topsy and Turvy get to the edge, and they're looking down, and those of you who look down with them, you can see Bupito. He's in the webs, and he's stuck in the webs, but he's slowly getting himself out. And the webs are strong enough to actually, he's crawling down them.
Okay.
To try to get a better way into to drop into the water. And Topsy and Turvy follow.
Once we get our equipment, that might be the best way to go, I will say telepathically.
I want to take at least a quick scan down there if I'm observing this. Does it look like there's any spiders or things like that that are going to swarm him if he doesn't get himself free in time?
Make me a perception check real quick. Right now, you do not see any spiders. You know spiders live in this area. You saw one. You know there must be others. You don't see any though.
I'm simply moving into the room, ignoring all the jumpers, because in my mind, they were part of the other group.
Oh wait. So you guys are out. If you're going, so you are now approaching. If you want, you have the option of going upstairs into the armory where you think you can hear someone upstairs, or you can continue across this bridge.
I think we go for our own things rather than take the chance up there. I don't know who's up there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Are you having a long conversation about it, or are you just?
No.
No, that's the extent
I
of it.
think we're just we're booking it.
Okay.
Your stuff and go.
So I'm gonna do. Stool is following behind. Shushnyar, who's with you. Eldeth is with you. Sarth is with you. Darendel is still with you. And Pupito, I said. And Jimjar is sort of. He's torn. He's still back here. Watching what your guys doing and interested in what they're doing down there. Okay, so you're in front of this group. We don't have tokens yet for those watching. We're working on those. They're going to be awesome. You're moving up to that stalactite.
Yep.
You can see in front of you. You see Ilvara is. I can move these. You see Ilvara up here. You see Shore, her lover, right next to her, and she is shooting sort of like flame and trying to take down these demons. They do not. You see on the platform quite a few of the Quaggoth passed out. You see quite a few of the Drow passed out. They're just lying lifeless on the ground in front of you.
I'm going to turn back to everyone and say, back up, let us go in and get the equipment and come back. We're not going to get to the lift. We're going to go through the webs.
Eldeth says, should we just jump down now then?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. You see her sort of take a deep breath and jump off.
Anyone who can't move quickly or quietly should jump now.
Stool and Shushnar picks up Stool, and they jump off, and you see Jimjar. So it's just the five of you now. Sareth, I'm sorry, and Sareth.
All right. Going into the tower.
Okay. So you
drawing
see
with the dagger drawn. I'm going to try to stealth in because Vic told us there's a spider in there.
Okay. Make me a quick stealth check and a perception check. So you stealth in and you see the spider sort of hidden in a corner up in the top of the stalactite, and it is hold on, see, giant spider. Passive perception is actually no. I would be a real because it has no clue what's going on, but it's not. Perception is wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It sees you.
Okay.
It is aware of you. It hasn't made any aggressive move towards you, but
I'm just gonna go straight for the steps downward that Vic told us about.
Who else is going in this room? Everyone?
I'm coming up behind him because I tend to think that Jace is smart and I should stay with him.
Is everyone coming into the room? Don't. Sorry, I'm just trying to. This is going to be. We're about to move into combat, and
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyone who's moving into combat, please give me an initiative roll. Let me open initiative.
We don't have tokens, so I don't know that it'll put us on there.
Ah, shit. You're right. Okay. Just tell me.
I have a 5.
7.
5 as well.
7, 5. Let's see. I have Jaisa is 5. Dolphix 5. Vic. I'm gonna say that Yusuf jumped. And okay. So that's that, and then giant spider. He's where's your initiative button? 8. All right. Vic, you see the spider there?
You know, fuck this spider. I am not in no mood to deal with this spider. I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers. Get him moving on out of here. Throw some
Right.
damage on him. And as I do so, I'm gonna sing a little tune. I'm just like, afternoon soup hit you in the face. Afternoon soup, it's hotter than a mace. I don't know what the saving throw, I think.
Let me see.
If you click it
if I
in
click
D&D
it-
Beyond, it'll tell you.
So,
If you click it, it'll throw the damage and the DC into
I can
Red
just
20.
hit the cast thing, right?
Yep. There you go. DC 13.
Oh, takes 12 points of damage.
Nice.
And needs to
And he
use
has
its
to
reaction to move its speed away.
Yep. So it crawls. It's already sort of at the highest point, but it sort of tucks itself into a corner.
That's right.
Okay. Next up is the spider. It doesn't have to keep doing that, right?
It's just on the turn.
Okay.
Just has
Supposed to use its
reaction.
turn to move as far away as possible. So that
It's
would be-
reaction.
Yeah, it's reaction.
So the giant spider looks at you and Vic. And I'm assuming a 19 hits you.
Oh yeah.
So you're going to take 4 poison damage as you're just, this web just hits you. So as an action, you can take a DC 12 strength check. Or you can try to attack it. But yeah, you are basically stuck, restrained to the wall right now after you did that. Next up is Drazzle.
How far away is it?
I'm
How-
going to say it's like 20 feet up.
So he's outside. If we're talking about 20 feet up, and I'm at least 5 foot tall, he's within range of my burning hand's 15-foot cone.
Sure. You can easily manipulate, like even if you have to crawl on the statue, you can do that. Yes.
Okay. Seems to be the best thing I can do right now.
Okay.
Another deck save.
Makes it, but takes half, right?
Yeah.
So you see like all the webs that had built up in the top of they start to burn.
Does it help burn up any of the web that's on Vic?
No, not unless you want to point it at Vic.
No.
Next up is Dolphix.
Okay, so the spider's like 20 feet up in the air.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Which means like you guys could run through.
that's what I'm thinking. Can I just run through towards the area that our equipment is supposedly?
So you move down into the next room.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just make sure I see the number to this, whatever room this is. Below 7. All right. So you go down the stairs, and you see this, like, the walls are hung with a black mesh resembling a spider's web from a central spot in the ceiling and sort of going out to the walls and then draped down like curtains. There's woven mats all over the floor, and the low platform is covered with cushions and pillows to make a broad, like, bed. One side has a small table, 2 chairs, while the other side you see a small shrine to Loth, draped in white silk. You see a large, heavy chest of zirkwood. You'll learn what zirkwood is later. At the foot of the bed.
Okay. There's nothing else here?
The
like-
chest, you see some stuff on the side table. The shrine, yeah.
Okay. Then I just shout back, I don't think our stuff's here. Did you say there was a piece of zirkwood at the foot of the bed?
I'll explain that later. It's just wood. So, yeah.
It's a chest. It's a chest of zirkwood.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a chest
A
of-
container.
Okay. How large is it?
And I'm almost positive someone told you your stuff was in the chest last session.
Okay.
Not saying it's this chest, but I'm almost positive.
Right. So how big is this one?
It's pretty big.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm gonna go to that then, and instead I will call back out that I found a chest. It's a big one. And I guess do I set my action?
Yeah, it's not a big. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just ready my action in case there's a hostile creature that comes near me.
Okay.
You're out.
Next up is Vic.
Jace, I haven't gone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna run down behind Dolphix and get to the chest with the intention of opening it.
Okay. You get down to the chest. It's there.
If I still have an action, I'm going to open it.
Okay. It's locked. So, are you gonna try to?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and you try to use the makeshift tools that I have to try to unlock it with disadvantage.
Yep. Please.
That would be the same as my sleight of hand, so I'm going to roll that.
Perfect.
A 6.
Okay. You make me a Constitution saving throw. Okay. You take 1 piercing damage, and you are poisoned for an hour.
Okay.
As you feel some sort of trap sort of shoot into you.
Okay.
You are pretty aware of this sort of trap. It's disarmed, but
Mhm.
not open though.
Yeah.
You weren't.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, it's 20. I'm sorry. I totally read the wrong one. You did open it. You popped it open.
No, I had disadvantage because I have
right,
makeshift
yep,
thieves
okay.
tools.
Yep. So you weren't able to open it.
Yeah.
So okay. Vic.
As much as I want that to be a 20, it wasn't.
So I'm struggling. I've got the web, and you said the spider is now up top, like above on the ceiling,
Correct.
where I'm at. So I'm just I'm gonna cast myself a little vicious mockery on this spider in Vic fashion. Hey, you spider! I knew an old lady who swallowed a spider. It wriggled and wriggled and tickled inside her. She swallowed that spider to catch the fly. I don't know why she wanted to catch that fly, but perhaps you will die.
All right. Pop it up.
Hey, and thank you for the follow, Binding of Ash. Huzzah!
Thank you. The spider is sort of like, you see its ears and it sort of like starts to twitch. You're not sure how spiders take insults. But you see it starts to twitch angrily, and it is on its last legs.
Unfortunately, it has 8 of them.
Yeah, but it's on the last one. So
Last set.
it's the spider's turn, and the spider did get back its web. So it looks and it turns. Vic is still stuck in webs, so it is going to turn to Drazzle, and it is going to shoot Drazzle. Does a 15 hit Drazzle?
It has disadvantage due to the vicious mockery.
That is the 15.
Okay.
23 was the other.
My AC is 15.
So that hits.
But as a bonus, I could do a Shield of Faith.
That's not a reaction, though.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate. I thought it was going to be a reaction. It's not.
So you take 5 poison, and you are restrained as well. But it is your turn.
What does restrain keep me from doing?